Welcome everyone to the Tonkin Legal Group, home of the Australian Family Law Podcast, the AFLP, definitely not the official podcast of the Australian Football League. I am your host once again, as always, Joe, and today I am going to be on my absolute best behaviour because there's no messing around. We've got all three big wigs of the Tonkin Legal Group here on this episode. You guys know Charlie, you know Sinjin. We'll let Ruby introduce herself towards the end there. Sinjin, though, before we do anything, give them hell, I think it says.
Yes. Well, this monstrosity found its way into my room. That's the price the Tigers pay, or I pay. Excuse me. Timmy. For Richmond getting flogged by the D's. We put up a usual good half, but of course football isn't played by halves, is it? So, Joe, yes, I have had to wear the ignominy of having this in my room today. Thank God Charlie forgot his beanie and his jumper and his scarf. Well done, Charlie. Good win.
Thanks, SH, and you're a good sport for letting me bring that ginormous banner into your office. I was honestly very concerned for 2.5 quarters. I thought the Tigers put up a very good effort, and I think we got very lucky with a few early umpiring decisions, which definitely helped our momentum. And I think a few non calls for holding the balls would have got you guys a few goals at crucial stages. So count ourselves very lucky. And there were a few other howler umpiring decisions throughout the round, which I'm sure we'll touch on.
Absolutely. And we now get to our star guest of this episode. Ruby, thank you very, very much for joining us today. You were there at the game live and you saw those decisions that Charlie was talking about.
Yes, hello. I thought I'd never be asked to join the inaugural podcast. Here I am. I was there and really got my hopes up, to be honest. And I watched, I think it was I reckon at least 3 goals that were basically given to Melbourne on a silver platter by the ones that I saw down my end, because I was pretty close to the goals. But yeah, look, it was there was some promising stuff from the Tigers, so I'm happy with that.
Another good half we can cling to. And well, speaking about halves and doing things by halves, how about the mighty Bombers on Anzac Day, Joe? Any rant left? Anything available in the tank there?
No rants for this. It's well and truly done and dusted. It's the wind's been taken out of our sails, and this one half, that one terrible half, has now got everyone questioning whether the Bombers should even have Anzac Day anymore. So that's just how bad it was. But we're not here to talk about my pathetic mob. We're here to talk about something different. You guys have touched on it already. You've touched on it. The shoddy umpiring and the officiating, I suppose, of how the game unfolds in the footy. Not too dissimilarly, we got in the family law jurisdiction, of course. In all the courts, you've got judges, and the judges see it as the case unfolds, and they make their own decisions based on the evidence before them. So there is, of course, a bit of discretion there to the umpires and to family law judges and how they deem and determine the outcome of cases. So we're not going to delve, I suppose, immediately into the shoddy umpiring decisions, because the umpiring decisions are as long as my arm, unfortunately. But I guess we can start talking about, what does it mean, Sinjin, when we say that it is a discretionary jurisdiction?
Oh, good question. So the Family Law Act dictates the family law jurisdiction, and the Family Law Act gives judges a very broad discretion within a framework of sections that they need to follow. But ultimately, the decision is up to their discretion. And in that case, you might have 10 different judges giving 10 different results. And that doesn't mean those results are incorrect. But again, a judge, like an umpire on a football field, can apply their discretion in those cases. So as we discuss with clients who are attending court or wanting to rush off to court, which is not always the solution, you may not be happy with the discretionary result that you receive. just like the Tigers weren't happy with the discretionary umpire results that we received on Thursday night, wasn't it?
What was the worst call from that game, if you don't mind me asking? That still lingers in your mind.
Well, Ruby, what was your worst? I know what my worst was.
Oh, you say yours because I don't know Melbourne players' names.
It was Brad Miller's 50-metre penalty.
Oh, ridiculous.
Brad Miller retired 15 years ago. Brad Miller.
Ben
Miller.
Ben Miller, yeah. So
I'll say neither you don't know them either, but
no, that was a shocker.
In that case, and there was another one with Jagamara Ugal, where there are 3 or 4 blokes standing around the marker, and the call for stand comes out.
Yep.
And who stands? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Yeah, I think you're right. There's no real clarity on it either. So I think it's it's similar to the family law aspect you were saying. It's very open to interpretation and discretion by the umpire, the adjudicator.
And certainly also in the family court, if a decision's made and you decide to appeal that decision, the full court or the appeal court has to find the judge's discretion was so far out of whack before they would overturn that decision. So the power is extremely broad, and that's why there's some trepidation in marching clients off to court when the result is not guaranteed. It's also why we can't often give clients an exact outcome.
Yep.
What am I entitled to? Is it 63%? Is it 67%? On that basis, we really can only provide a range because we have to take into account the court's discretion.
That's what I was going to say. Usually, although there is a lot of unknown, usually an experienced family law practitioner will be able to provide a range, and that's what we will do. We'll give you a range, but that's at the end, really. We have to start long before that, and that's sort of why I think there is a place for discretion in the family law jurisdiction, because every single family is different. You can't put, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about relationships and we're talking about families, and you can't fit them into a legal template. It's not going to work. So, but once you look at all the circumstances of the relationship and, the circumstances of the parties moving forward, what's in the best interest of the children, usually your lawyer will be able to sort of give you an indication of where it might end up, but ultimately, once you're in court, it's all up to the judicial officer, so you're relinquishing that control.
Yeah, I think like what Ruby said, we try to give a range, but there's also times where we can't even give a range, especially in that initial appointment. Like there might be some further information that we need, so sometimes we can't use our discretion and give that range in an initial appointment. But ultimately we'll do our best to, because even what one lawyer might think is fair, another might not think is as fair. So it extends to lawyers as well as what the courts might say.
And asking for extra information, like asking someone in the ARC to review a decision where a mark is taken over the goal line, and it takes 1 minute and 55 seconds for someone surrounded by videos to decide that a no mark is a mark, which translates into a goal. And I understand Champion Data have had to delete all the stats from where that mark wasn't taken until when it was reversed.
It's crazy.
So sometimes asking for extra information doesn't give you the result you want to hear.
Well, I think it's come out now that Greg Swan's come out saying that's not going to happen again. Once the ball is back in motion, they're not going to go back to it. And I think I think certainly if you're in doubt in the initial stage, just call the behind or say, I want a score review. You don't have to wait a minute to request for a review. The one I found also pretty damning was in the North Melbourne game where Griffin Logue was going back. You can see 3 of his fingers bend back as he touches the pill. It was zoomed in. You had to zoom in a lot for it. But geez, if KO and Fox Sports can do that, surely the ARC can. So a lot of holes in this ARC, and if Noah was on it, he'd be drowning. So definitely something that we have to be careful about. And in relation to the family law side of things, just because, don't want the viewers to potentially think that this is, the Wild West out there. No, the Family Law Act absolutely dictates and says all of the things that we are supposed to factor in, all the things that we're supposed to consider. It sets out the 4 steps now in relation to the property settlement process, and it sets out all these future needs factors, which we will go over in another episode down the track. But whilst it tells us what to consider, I don't think it actually it doesn't tell us how much weight we're supposed to give each consideration.
Yeah, sorry, Joe, to sort of jump in there, but I think that's really important. Like, discretion isn't an absence of rules. It's rather the law recognizing that families don't all fit within one rule.
Yep.
So we are following a legal framework, but you need to apply all the different particular circumstances to that framework.
And I think, Joe, you're right. I think the word weight is the right way of looking at it. So you can have the same set of facts or very similar set of facts in 2 different cases, but the weight given to each of those factors might be completely different for different reasons.
Yep. And that's why it's really important from our perspective, obviously, as family lawyers in this space, you'd want to go to someone who has seen a lot of similar cases and has a really familiar, I suppose, understanding of how the law is applied. You can certainly you can try your luck with a generalist, but I think you'll find a lot of non-family law practitioners see family law in a different light. And that's because it does operate in its own way. It is its unique beast, and certainly equipping yourself with an actual family lawyer who is experienced in that space will certainly save you, I think, a lot more heartache down the line. You can certainly ask the North Melbourne players how important it is to save themselves from heartache, because they genuinely believe they were robbed, and we definitely don't want our clients to feel they were robbed either.
Certainly not.
Excellent. No, I'm just for me, I feel nothing but I don't feel robbed at all. Sorry, Charlie, because thankfully Sabrina's not here to give me a Collingwood scarf. I didn't have to wear it today. Thank God for that.
I was just going to say, speaking of heartache, Joe, how long are we giving Brad Scott?
Why is he not gone already? Is the question.
Look, he will die one day.
We're all going to die one day. You're right. Very deep philosophical man is Brad. I guess we'll give him towards the end of the year, and I don't think we're going to sack him in the meantime. I think he'll make it to the end of the year almost certainly. The only question is, will he see out next year? That's the question. He
was the Messiah a week ago.
If you ask Andrew Welsh, isn't a win. We're going to win multiple premierships under his watch, and it's hard to see that now.
Yeah, it's hard when your team's not winning regularly, but I thought you did show something the week before.
That's the classic Bombers. They give you some hope, and then the knife comes in. But that's all right.
Whip it away.
And they whip it away. They giveth and they giveth away. But thank you guys so much. I think that's enough. I'm starting to get depressed. I was happy before. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Ruby, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the panel today. Can we expect to see you again?
Oh, if I get invited back, I guess it depends on how what you think of the performance.
You did a wonderful job, Rube. Welcome aboard. We'll see you again.
It was great to be here. Thanks for having me. I think there was just one final point I wanted to make is that umpires now should know the rules of AFL, and in family law we have that discretion, which also is useful in getting people to resolve matters before it gets to the point of decisions that need to be made in court. So you can make some sensible decisions when you're not 100% sure of what's going to happen. So that's my last final comment. Thank you very much.
Good.
Love it.
That's why she's coming back next week.
Oh, next week?
That's me leading into part 2.
Excellent. If you guys enjoyed what you had to see or hear from this episode today, please let us know in the comments down below you want Ruby back next week. Tell us. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to not miss out on any of these weekly episodes as they come out. Go Days, yes. And if you are listening to us on Spotify, please, Timmy, please rate us with 5 stars because it definitely helps with our outreach. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week, boys and lady. We'll see you all in the next one.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Joe.
Bye.
Bye.